So immediately after that, our priest of Ezra, which is, I believe she's neutral good, is it?
Lawful neutral.
Lawful neutral. Took exception to this and proceeded to try and have me executed for, well, evil crimes, basically.
Yeah.
Now I managed to acquire a number of spells which I believe are in Libris Mortis.
Yeah, Libris Mortis, which is a D&D book. Look up anything with the word necrotic at the front of it. Necrotic cyst, necrotic burst, necrotic bloat, and you'll get the idea.
Now, with those spells, it means that you can put a necrotic cyst inside somebody's body, and with the other different spells, you can either enlarge it, causing damage, or cause it to explode, causing even more damage.
Or death.
Or death, obviously.
Yeah.
Now, I managed to acquire a... basically, it was an ornate wooden cane from a previous NPC we'd killed. Was it Warlock Black?
No, what was the target? It was Ambrose.
That's it. From an evil wizard called Ambrose.
Wilhelm Ambrose, that was it.
Wilhelm Ambrose, that was it, yes. So essentially it was a rod of, what was it, silent and still?
Yeah.
Silent and
Once a day it could cast a spell as if silenced and stilled, which meant basically beyond his concentration like gaze, and given the fact that no material components were required to cast a spell, apart from the material component you've already put into the person, it was impossible to see him do it.
Yes, now obviously with the fact that if you start passing notes around, people become suspicious. So I had pre-arranged hand signals with Captain Machine here.
Come in here, everyone else does.
Do they?
Yeah.
Alright. To say that I was casting a spell. So if we got a new character in, or a new player as we did at one point, if you have anybody who starts sort of being antagonistic towards the character. Now I played him as a sort of wannabe noble character, who, because his original name wasn't Silas de Vries, it was Silas Mutton, which is a decidedly common name.
I think de Vries came about by it was the alias you created to pretend to be noble, so you could actually meet Mr. Ambrose, who refused to speak to commoners.
That was it, yes, upon which point I robbed his house and murdered him. Causing anybody who's familiar with Ravenloft power checks, etc., for the acts of murder, etc. Now, what I would do is, if anybody acted in an antagonistic or threatening manner, I would, as I am, I'll hold my hands up to being a very naughty man. I am a smoker. So what I would do is, I would, partially physically roleplay the act of shaking somebody's hand, on which point the cigarette packet would be tapped 3 times. Then I would roll a power check, which was actually their fortitude save.
I would roll the fortitude save and the power check at the same time.
That was it, yes.
And generally speaking, I wouldn't roll it at that moment either.
No, it would be later on when you go, hang on, right.
Yes, I forgot to do something.
This. Yes. Which would mean that quite often I would put a necrotic cyst inside somebody and they would be completely unaware that this had occurred. So, should they attempt to kill me at night, because there was a great deal of ill feeling towards my character from the other characters, not the players, but the characters.
Must admit, as players, you're actually quite civil about it.
We were reasonably civil about it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Silas used to, every night he went to sleep, he would cast an alarm spell around his tent, and he always had necrotic bloat in memory. So if anybody walked in the tent and tried to murder him at night, he would instantly cast necrotic bloat on them, causing X amount of damage, half of which is vile damage which can't be healed under normal means. So people were, I wouldn't say terrified of him.
You didn't make your, well, as a player, you weren't very good at keeping that particular aspect of your character a secret. To the point where when you did die, and the player of the character was stuck in a nightmare realm, those of you who remembered you actually encountered a nightmare version of you, which was you, but as you had always said you were going to play him, but never did.
Well, the thing is, the Nightmare version had more control over the crowd. Well, he had control over the crowd cells, or rather,
Yeah.
it was helping him. And there was also the fact that I was very aware of the fact that if I went around killing people, they would, you know, it's one of the three don'ts, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, that was it. 3 don'ts. Don't kill all the player characters. Don't split up the party.
Don't split up the party.
Yeah.
I thought that was don't eat cheese before bedtime.
I know it's fundamental rule, but yeah, you talk about the 3 don'ts. Don't kill the player characters because they're not going to enjoy it.
Don't get them wet.
That's gremlins. Don't kill. Don't split up the party.
Yeah.
Don't read the books.
Yeah.
That's a Cthulhu thing.
That's true. Yes. But essentially, there was a lot of hiding sort of various things, like the priest had gone off to find a surgeon to have this necrotic cyst removed once you found it. So my character Silas went to visit her in recovery and promptly put another one in her. Now my character has since...
Silas has passed away now, hasn't he?
Silas has disappeared now. I've got a new character. But the repercussions of his actions are still felt because of the fact that once you've got a necrotic cyst in you, you suffer, was it minus one?
It's -1 to all saves versus undead, and undead get +1 to hit you.
Yeah, which unfortunately, because we're now in Nova Vasa.
Yeah.
Or rather, actually we've moved on from Nova Vasa now, haven't we? We're in
Briefly, yeah.
briefly. But it means that there's no access to a prominent surgeon anymore.
No.
Which
Given the
means-
fact that it's a save or die to remove it. Or the skill check. If you fail the skill check, you kill the patient on the table, they bleed out. No match
I
will get
did
you out.
not know that. That is most amusing.
Did you not know that?
No.
It's a heal roll, DC 20, for the surgery. Obviously modified by the conditions of the surgery and the skill and things like that. And if you fail it, the patient dies out of the table because necrotic cyst cell is now in the habit of attaching themselves to major arteries.
Nice.
Had Silas ever kept the book that taught him those particular spells, because I think you got them taken off you, you would have learnt that.
Yes, I think one of the other players. Oh no, it was lost.
Well, Ambrose took it back off you, but he hid it before you killed him, so you had no idea where you put it.
That was it. Yes, we needed to get out rather quickly before his loyal villagers came and burned us. Hammer horror style.
Fair enough. One final example then is something that unfortunately you're not privy to.
Oh.
Yes, which was a Vampire Masquerade game, run by the same gym as run the Forgotten Realms game. Very good gym in fact when it comes to Vampire. Very gritty.
Yes, he is.
And we're playing a game set in New York, modern day vampire game, and the goal was to become the new prince, because those of you who know anything about the old World Darkness Lore knows there is no prince in New York. Once the Camarilla come in, there's a standing prince who doesn't want the job and probably quits a few months later. So the goal of the campaign was to become the new prince, which we did manage in the end actually. However, as is with all of our vampire games, there were subtle nuances in the background. For example, my right hand man, Nosferatu Beast of a Man, had basically secretly gone over to the Sabbat
Right.
to learn some forbidden techniques, and was plotting against my downfall and selling me out to the Sabbat.
Oh, lovely.
Another character, a female character this time, Toreador, had decided to undermine my authority and had placed her support with one of my rivals, as it were, which got me kicked out of being a prince, which is what sparked the Sabbat invasion actually.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, what was the third thing? Yeah, I seem to remember I did something horrible to somebody, but my memory losing me.
Yeah, you'll have to narrow it down.
Yeah, I know. That particular campaign though. Oh yeah, that was it. I blood bombed someone.
Oh. It's effective.
Well, which is effectively the art of giving someone blood 3 times to become utterly loyal to you. Yeah, I did that to someone. basically it was subtle to start with, but towards the end of it you don't have to put any salt into it at all. Like by the second drink, they're open to the suggestions to the point where you go, it might be good if you do it, and they go, okay then.
Yeah.
So yeah, Blood Bond another player character to me.
Cool.
So they largely had to do what I said. So yeah, there's examples of player versus player combat. So hopefully from what we've discussed today, and this is most definitely more than 10 minutes long.
Oh yes.
We can take away from this, and you can go. If you're not already applying this principle to your game, you can do. If you are, then hopefully I've pointed out a couple of things that you may not have thought of, or just ways of refining what you're already doing. But thank you for your time, guys. Been a pleasure talking to you, and Matt, of course. I'll be seeing you again in the future. Next video coming up is the White Dragon, which I didn't promise you all. Okay, guys. Bye bye.